This message is produced by truthfromgod.com, which is one of hundreds of messages that can be read, heard, and watched at truthfromgod.com. In 1976, Yahweh God led me to establish the News Party. From June of 1976 until the end of December of 1979, I published the Battle Axe, which was the official organ of news and had subscribers all over the world. At that time, Yahweh told me to end it all. And from 1980 until 2010, I did nothing in the public forum. But after 30 years, he told me to build a website, and Truth from God went active in 2011. Many of the old messages published in the Battle Axe appear on this website, and the following is one of them. What was said then should be more apparent now, and for this reason, the following is presented. The Enemy, published in the Battle Axe, issue 115, August 1977. There has been great confusion as to who is the enemy and what should be the proper attitude toward it. Why? Modern churchianity has clouded this issue like every issue that now plagues our nation. The cowardly clerics always quote from Matthew 5:44 and Luke 6:27, "Love your enemies." Because of their agenda, they will not inform their followers that this passage is a translation from either ancient Greek or later Latin text, and that these two languages, unlike our English language, have two distinct words for enemy. The Latin words are hostis, which denotes a public national enemy, and imachus, which is a private personal enemy. Greek also makes this same distinction and goes even further in clarification by distinguishing between the two types of wars to be waged: those against other Greeks and those against alien cultures, racial barbarians. The former were agons, and only the latter were true wars against the common national enemy. An agon was originally a contest for a prize at public games, and the opponent was an antagonist. The wars of the last 800 years were intra-European and thus agonal. As national politics assumed the ascendancy within the classical culture with the Peloponnesian Wars, the distinction passed out of Greek usage. Wars in Europe during the 17th and 18th centuries were in nature of contests for a prize, with the prize being a strip of territory, a throne, a title. There was never any idea of unlimited warfare, and the thought of annihilating an opposing dynasty was never contemplated. Even in the Bible, the distinction of national and personal enemy can be readily seen by comparing scriptures with scriptures. In Luke 19:27, Jesus says, "But mine enemies bring hither and slay them before me." It is such distinctions as this that are lost in translations, which cause the ignorant to believe that the Bible contradicts itself. The enemy in Matthew 5:44 and Luke 6:27 is the private personal one, while the enemy in Luke 19:27 is the public national one. In the Latin and Greek, the public national and private personal enemy were clearly distinguished, and the attitude toward each is specifically defined. Love the private personal enemy. He is your brethren, a member of your racial culture. But slay the public national enemy. He is an alien, a member of another racial culture. The Crusades were thus wars in the full, unlimited sense of the word. The deep spiritual objective was Western culture against an alien culture. Honor in the Crusades forbid personal meanness, but did not exclude total destruction of the alien enemy as an organized unit. However, in the intra-European struggles, this honor code forbid imposing too harsh a treaty upon the defeated opponent, and it never entered into anyone's mind to deny the opponent the right to exist as an organized unit. During the history of white Western civilization, from Pope Gregory VII to Napoleon, the struggle against a member of the culture was limited, but that against the alien race, the non-members of the culture, was an unlimited warfare. Wars upon those outside the culture have to be unlimited. Why? They are spiritual. For everything in Western man is spiritual. In cultural wars, the soul of the culture is at work, lending its invisible but invincible strength to those in its service, and the struggle will be continuous even against fearful odds. A few defeats, and all would have been up for Genghis Khan, but not so for Frederick the Great or George Washington, for they felt themselves to be the vehicle of the idea for the future, the spirit of the age. It has been during the last century in the development of our culture that some of the battles have been lost, but the spirit of the age still fights onward. The Civil War in America, as well as the two world wars in Europe, are examples of the temporary surface defeats, which are only the defeat of quality by quantity. These battles have been fought within the culture because of the immigration of aliens into it. This alien integration has caused a culture retardation, and the host-parasite relationship has been established, which necessitates the intra-extra cultural conflict. Destiny will not be frustrated by them, for the culture will soon rid itself of their poisonous presence. These aliens, whether within or without Western society, are the enemy. Who are they? Going back to Luke 19:27, Jesus identifies them as those which would not that I should reign over them. He is more specific in John 8:31 through 59. Then said Jesus to those Jews, Ye are of your father the devil. Then they took up stones to cast at him. It should also be noted that the Jews are called blasphemers, liars, and the synagogue of Satan in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. If you doubt that the Jews are the racial children of the devil instead of God's chosen people, then be honest enough to study the messages Jews ain't Israel, who is Israel, and who killed Christ. They will give understanding as to what the Bible says, and history, past, present, and future, will begin to make sense. Enemy, in its true meaning, is not a competitor. Neither is it a fellow member of the culture with whom you have a personal conflict. Our English language, unfortunately, does not make this important distinction that the ancient Greek and the Latin did. It is time to recognize the true enemy, the racial alien, and direct the unlimited war against him. He must be driven out before our culture and its product, nation, can move onward and upward. At no time does the Bible ever counsel treason to love the public, national, racial, cultural enemy. God says that King David is a man after my own heart. Acts 13:22. Now notice what David's attitude was toward this national racial enemy in Psalms 139:20 through 22. Thine enemies take thy name in vain. Do not I hate them? I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. Who is after God's own heart? The alien-hating, giant-killing, slayer of tens of thousands who knows the enemy and fearlessly wars against them in the name of Yahweh. What was said then should be more apparent now. This message is produced by truthfromgod.com, which is one of hundreds of messages that can be read, heard, and watched at truthfromgod.com.